let's just press play. No, before we press play, let's just talk here. Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, I am here to give a formal, constructive, critical review of Fallout. Let me just mute myself, because I know I'm talking now. Alright. So, Fallout 76 is, let me start off saying, a bug-filled, messy game that I enjoy thoroughly. Now, you might hate it. There's sure as hell a lot of YouTubers getting on the cash grab out there, saying how much they hate it, and I have took some notes from two I've watched in the past for other videos, and kind of liked, and so I was kind of taken aback when they kind of broke form, I guess you could say, and just decided to, what feels like, at least from when I was watching them, from what I watched from them, seemed like it was out of form. I even tried, I couldn't remember the name of the YouTuber. I know there's a YouTuber that usually does, like, Dark Souls videos, and he did a review on this damn game. It's like, and of course he's hating on it. Go back to Dark Souls. Whoever that was, I can't even remember. They're all bigger than me. It doesn't really fucking matter to me. I don't care what size your channel is. Your voice and opinion don't really matter too much if you're not going to actually give this a fair review, like I'm about to do. You can say the game's shit, but you have to be willing to put in the time to discover its strengths as well as weaknesses. And with over 75 hours, I feel like I have that pretty much sorted out. So I'm still in the main menu here because I just want to go over some things that's easier in the menu. One thing I've heard people say is that oh my god, this has microtransactions. Specifically, one of the two YouTubers I'm going to talk about, Clean Prince Gaming, was like, oh, it's not even a finished game and it has microtransactions. You know, it's like, oh, humanity. Look, I have some of the stuff I bought. I bought Adams, alright? I bought like the double pack of Adams because I want my vampire costume. I have a vampire roleplay going on right now with my solo character that I'm thoroughly enjoying. I don't need friends to enjoy this game. In fact, most of the time I don't. I think I have about 24 hours without friends, and a little bit, actually probably a little bit over that. I've been playing a lot in the vampire solo, but even when I do get people, it's only for a short while, unless I'm actually playing with someone I like. And we'll get more to that later. I'll talk more about that. But look at this. This is all skins. This is all stuff you don't need. You know, I've bought a few emotes here and there because the emotes are really cheap. Like, I like the player versus player one. I'm a little disappointed though, just a side note on this, that this is the same emote basically as the finger gun emote. There's no way. Oh, that's cool. There's some sort of finger guns. It's the same kind of emote, it's just what pops up a different. But I don't mind that, because this doesn't say I want PvP, and this does. And also my controller's been broken, so him actually doing the finger emotes doesn't really, it changes the style here. And you know, like, you can gain half a day, that's news there too. You can gain 40, 50 just by doing one, like, simple weekly objective. Even some of the dailies give you that much. No, I don't think they do. But like, these are super cheap. You can get one of these in one day. You can get a couple hundred in a day, even if it's a couple of the weeklies, which will disappear. But like, you can afford all this stuff just by playing the game normally. This is not. There's no predatory microtransactions here. If you hear a reviewer talk about microtransactions, don't trust it. There's nothing bad here with the microtransactions. Most of the stuff, some of the stuff, the apparel you can get in game. Pretty sure I could have found the vampire costume, not the red rocket suit though. Some of these I know you can't find in game. The Cannon jumpsuit you might be able to find, maybe not the Wildman rigs, but they did go and say you should be able to find all. I think they said all or most of this in there. I know I've seen the fisherman hat, so I assume the black overalls are somewhere. I already own the skiing outfit on my main character along with the red helmet, sniper uniform I might end up getting because it looks sick. But I'm just kind of saving my stuff. Alright, so that's enough on microtransactions. Here, let's load up my level solo character, which I've been playing strictly solo with. If I join a group on this character, oh look at that picture. I love taking pictures in this game, guys. Like that's just a coffee tin. I buy a few frames occasionally when I see one. But I took a few pictures and you get to see them when you're loading it. It's nice to go somewhere and say, oh, this looks cool. Take a picture and then be able to see that on your loading screen. It's better than spinning the damn object. You actually, something pops up and you're like, oh, I like that moment. And that's one thing I want to point out right now. It's just like you didn't do that. Other times when you get loading screens in Fallout games, you just sat there and you were like spitting, waiting for the action. But every time I see this, I just kind of like I chuckled to myself because I was like, I was gonna take a picture with my face next to it. And I'm like, let's just take a picture of it. I took that at level 18. I'm like level 30 something now. But I want to go over the 4 general points most reviewers, I mean haters, I don't even want to call them reviewers, they're not proper reviews, because they do far too much bashing. Then, why that automatically, oh wait, that was supposed to be open from the get-go. They do too much bashing that I can't really faithfully say their reviews some of the times. Let's turn this light on. Alright, so first, one of the general things is no story. Now, that is people not wanting to participate in the story because it's not giving to them how they're used to. And what I mean is, people will say it has a story, oh, unless you read it in terminals. Like, that's not story. What do you mean? I pick up a book. I pick up my manga series. I read it. It's story. It's just not how you like it. Sorry, people, haters, whatever you want to call it. These review junkies, I don't know what to call these people. Just the YouTuber saying there has no story. The story is there, it just might not be appealing to you, which is fine. It's fine. Doesn't make the game bad. Doesn't mean there's not any story to be had there. It just means it's not in a way that you find enjoyable. And that's all right. But don't go out there saying there's no story to this game when there clearly is. I mean, I've sat in front of a terminal, I'm not dying, reading like little stories and snippets about her going out. What was it? The story I'm working on now with the bone meal, she's like, oh, of the free states. She's saying, oh, I'm gonna head out, but you'll finally find my corpse, and she's talking to some guy. Now, granted, we know there's no alive, I shouldn't say that, that's not confirmed. There are no current NPCs that we can interact with that are alive. You'll find a lot of people that will be like, I'm going to do this thing, you'll find their dead body. It's fine, like I don't mind there not being any NPCs. Honestly, I never played with them anyways. I never traveled with a companion in any of the games anyways, so I don't see why people are fussing. I mean, I get why people are fussing about the NPCs, but there's already a quest line that confirms that a little boy probably made it to a vault, and we can't even go in the vaults yet. So, I mean, I'm just saying, like, there's gonna be at some point probably some form of NPC in the game. There might not be though. There might not be. They might not add it in, but they have tons of time to add NPCs in. I'm pretty sure they will eventually get around to it. So let's go with that. What does this note here? What do I mean by not big? Huh. When you write, I feel like this is my first day of serving. I wrote a note down on a notepad, and now I don't know what the customer ordered. Anyways, I'll skip that note. I'll probably talk about it later on. And one of the other things I hear a lot of people say, it's a junk simulator. It's a junk simulator. Like, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I never play and say, okay, I need to get a bunch of junk. I need to get this junk, and this junk. It's in the back of my mind, but I'm never going out specifically looking for junk. I haven't hit that point in the game yet. I do have 3 characters, so granted, there's a lot of stuff I still haven't experienced in the game because I'm flipping between 3 characters sometimes. Whenever my buddy lost a nuke, I switched over to my higher level character, which is becoming less and less of a higher level because this character is vastly approaching, and I take my sweet ass time. This is the character, I read all the stories and stuff, I just do this stuff with it. And I read everything, make sure everything's all nice. You know, I haven't tried tuning the Hunted, but that's another thing. That's PvP. We'll talk about that later. I don't think people really use that too much, but that's all right. Roses, Raider video. All right. Anyways, I'm not gonna worry about too much about the game. So yeah, Junk Simulator, knock that out of the way. That's a baseless gripe. You do need junk in the game, but I think the main thing I should point out about this is you get junk from pretty much anywhere. Whenever you go anywhere, you can pick it up. What junk you pick up, you'll slowly learn like what junk to avoid. Tin cans, unless they're aluminum cans, you usually just don't pick up because you usually have plenty of steel from scrapping weapons anyways. You know, and there's all sorts of perks. I mean, if you're over encumbered, I know that's like a thing with this game. Oh, I'm always over encumbered, but I know a lot of people will just pick up literally everything, and that's not how you need to go about it. And I'll make a separate video on that eventually, about what to pick up. And you can pick up anything, but like you should have a focus on what you want to pick up when you're going out doing this stuff. So yeah. Definitely not a junk simulator. I mean, if you really want to call it a junk simulator, then by all means, all their Fallouts were junk simulators. Fallout 4, that was a junk simulator too. Then by this logic, because hell, you need more junk in that game than you need in this game. I would think. Because this one, I build my personal camp, my stuff gets stored. I don't have to rebuild at another settlement, so therefore I don't need nearly as much junk as I need in this one. Like I need way more in Fallout 4. Yeah. All right, let's get on to the specifics because that's all the generals that I could possibly think to go over. So the first guy, I've already mentioned the other one, but one of the first people I found a review on and was like, huh, he must have some things to say, and it's like, oh, okay, that wasn't at all fair or accurate. That's an angler. So first thing we got here is alright, I think I've heard two people. I think the 2 people I looked at both said something along these lines. It's fun with friends, even if it's a bad game. That's what SkillUp said it specifically. So I've already mentioned this. I play mostly solo. So, and I'm having just a fun time with it, anyways. And it's just fine. Is it an easy experience alone? Not always, especially in an area like this. Like I'm not. I don't think I'm under leveled, but I'm not over leveled either. But also like when you die, you're not going back to a checkpoint so much. So it's not that infuriating. Assuming you didn't like run out of the area, you won't have to pay any caps for respawning. See, there's way too fast. That's a picture. I took a few pictures outside of White Springs with some guys that I met up in local chat. Lots of fun. We were his face was really fucked up, and I'm getting sidetracked. So you can definitely have fun with this game without your friends. And sometimes you can't when you're with your friends. You're not necessarily pressured to to stay with them either. I will join teams and just on my medic build and be like, yeah, I'm just gonna share my 15 XP card. You down with just like letting me be on your team? And I'll be like, yeah, sure. You know, I'll join your team, whatever, and we'll just go and do our own things. You don't have to play with the people. You can be in completely opposite ends of the map and just use each other's camps, and then just get together when an event's happening. and it's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. This is a maxed health character, by the way. It's really overpowered in some cases. Not really good at, it's not really good at direct combat, but it's pretty strong. Anyways, enough on the character. What is that doing there? Huh. What? That's just a random note. My notes. A lot of people think something else to skill up, and I think some of the other people said is the game's like hollow. It's like the quest to just go here and do that. When you break anything down in any type of like quest game or anything, it's always gonna be a go here, do that. But I suppose the argument is that because the game isn't fun to begin with, that it's not what am I trying to say? Because the game isn't like that fun, or it doesn't have the NPCs, it doesn't have the story. Okay, so I guess because it doesn't have the story, people are just like, oh yeah, I know this game is trash because story and yada yada. But like I said, I can just go in, read my terminals, and just be, I'm fine. These guys actually can't see me. Ignore their shots. Waterborne diseases. Yeah. So I mean, I can understand why someone might feel this way. But also it's not as straightforward as go here, do this. It's not Rose's quest line. You know, you had to kind of research, find out what happened to the people that you're looking for these key cards, and you are essentially like looking for these, but she's telling you a story as you go along. Now, if I had to guess, most of the people who made these reviews didn't play through long enough to get to Rose's quest line, and I can understand that. You know, they're there to hate the game, so they're gonna capture gameplay footage from like the first section. But I liked Rose's quest line. Now I hope they get more on her with the whole I plan on doing like a PvP update, and I hope they put in more with her with the with Rose, because Rose was once a human. There's a holotape right there on her dex board, and if you're not being thorough in the game, you might miss it, sure. But Rose was Rosaline and was once a human, and she says that, oh, good thing I'm not a human anymore. Like the cannibals can't eat me, whatever. Sounds like there's some sort of startup of the Fallout New Vegas, you know, group here of the cannibals from New Vegas. But you get introduced to all these raider groups. Now some of them are kind of benign, but then there's the gourmands, which are the people that eat people, and they have their own little like short little story. You find out what happened to them. You know, it's not like some sort of like, oh, my son's missing, but and let's find him, and oh look, he's in a bunker. But it's a story, and it's good enough for me. And I'm not saying that it always kind of meh. I actually I like it. There are parts where the story is kind of lacking, but there's also like world stories. I was in I'm gonna just talk about the story about a bit here. I was in AVR medical facility. I cracked open a terminal, and I just like reading some of the terminals sometimes. Look at this, a man house. That was being started coming out here, getting a nice, fully finished place of myself. Boy, sorry, hold on. Next thing you know, smoke. What is that to my right? And seems like this guy came here when the bombs dropped. I like keeping most of the notes, just for future reading. Except if it's a story I've read multiple times before. Dead. Anyways, so yeah, the stories are nice. I like them. But the AVR balance, that's what I was going on about. So yeah, I was in this AVR medical facility, and like not all the stories are like big, thoughtful. Oh, my daughter went missing. One of them was just this AVR medical facility was like, oh, and if someone doesn't stop eating the, you know, it wasn't eating the cookies, it was like, stop doing this, and I'm like, I'm not gonna name any names, and he was like, Jerry, and I just cracked up. I mean, that's funny as shit, at least to me. I mean, maybe not everyone finds these little stories funny, but I was literally that day I was talking to my boss, and and we had something similar pop up where we're like, well, yeah, we shouldn't name it. She was like, we mentioned something like about how people shouldn't name names and stuff like that, and it just like I read that and it was like, holy crap, this is like just what we just talked about. I don't know, I just found that really funny. The Ladies of Mystery. I'm having trouble finding the words to say the name, but they're pretty cool too. Their quest line is got a lot of information on it, and I'll tell you right now, I did not read all the terminals about her stuff through on this because I'd already read them watching a playthrough, you know, Silo Beast. So I didn't read that, but I didn't need to because I already kind of knew the gist of it. But their story's really great too if you want to read through all their terminals and find out how they came to be. So that's stories for you. Another thing that this skill up said, that the VAST system was just so terrible and like thrown together because this wasn't supposed to be a Fallout game because enemies run up on you. Now, from my experience with the Fallout games, is didn't want to pull that open. Is that most of the Fallout games for me have been easy. And that's why I had to play all the Fallout games on survival difficulty. But even with that, like they eventually got easy. It just was really hard in the beginning with some of them. So like let me just stay off with saying this. I started off playing Fallout 4 on normal. It was way too easy. I am not ashamed to say this, but I am a core Dark Souls player. My friend bought me Dark Souls when I was in high school because it was, quote, the cheapest game at Walmart, and I never looked back and said, no, yeah, that was a bad decision. I hate this game. No, I fell in love with Dark Souls because it was the cheapest game at Walmart, because it had been like, what, 5-6 years since it came out, and I was just getting my hands on it. It kicked my ass, and I liked it. And I like that in games. I like games that kick my ass. Now, because of Dark Souls, I enjoy them. It makes me appreciate them. But the way Skill Up put it, it sounded like he wanted enemies like Destiny to kind of just sit out in the open and let you shoot them 24/7. It's a damn wolf. You want it to just sit there and calmly wait. He was complaining about enemies rushing him, and they're hard to hit when they get up in you. I mean, if you don't want enemies rushing you, take a stealth character. I mean, if you're charging in like that, you're gonna get rushed by ghouls and enemies. Keep a melee weapon on you. I mean, things are up in your face. Melee's a good way to go. And ghouls don't have much damage resistance or armor, so generally melee's actually where my stealth character actually excels at, is taking out ghouls and Scorch, because the Scorch don't generally get in your face. They usually have guns, but they can run at you with melee. But the ghouls particularly, like, I can usually hack them down pretty quickly because I'm melee focused. Now you don't have to focus your melee. You can just keep a melee weapon on you because it stuns them and will stop them from hitting you occasionally. There is stagger on the melee weapons. So there is that. So, I mean, there's options to dealing with enemies that run up in your face, and it's not a bad thing that you have trouble shooting something. Perhaps get better at aiming the gun. I know that FOV isn't the best in this game, and PC players, I think, have gotten the option to change that, or are getting the option to change that in the upcoming December update. There's a lot of updates coming out that these people have bashed this game on, stat size being one of them. That is about to be done away with the 2 December updates that we know about. And they haven't even released the full updates. So that's that. What else do I have to say? Oh yes, so let's move on to Clean Prince and some of the points I chose out. Now I had to stop because I knew I could like grab endless material from most of these because there's just so much misinformation, I suppose, um, on some of these things. Thank you, Overox, on the stream chat. Um, so so Clean Prince, I know I'm just wandering around in circles. Try not to get into too much combat when I'm trying to talk. I'm trying to make a review here. Gotta keep it focused. Can't get into too much combat, although I think I'm doing alright. So something Clean Prince mentioned is there was nothing to do. A lot of empty space, houses that are closed up, yada yada. In Fallout, maybe not so much in Fallout 4, but and what how the game's designed, you really can't expect the whole game to be rendered to keep track of all these indoor interiors. And there's plenty of places where you can go into and explore in this game. There is a donut shop, I think, that is just a donut shop with a roof. And there's like a little back thing with a crafting shop. But I'm okay with things not being able to go into things because there's plenty of areas you can go inside. So this point of you can't go into places and there's nothing there, just like there is stuff there. Now, granted, some of it might be junk, some of it might be stories if you're actually picking up and able to hack some of the terminals to get a little bit backstory. You know, it's there. So there's that. Pretty sure that Death Club is the thing I have to kill, by the way. So that's that. But on another note, Fallout New Vegas, as far as being empty, so New Vegas had so many houses, entire sections of the map that were completely empty. And so what I don't understand is, like, you're bashing this game for being empty. Like, which I don't think is nearly as true. Like I said, a lot of these reviews are drastified to an extreme degree, usually in the bad light, never really in the good light. I'm here just to kind of beat the medium. So New Vegas had tons of houses you just couldn't go into, and even searching the perimeter of the house, you know, there wouldn't be any notes or anything significant. I remember entire section outside of New Vegas, like strip, Freeside or whatever, where it's like just destroyed houses. And I was looking around, and I'm like, oh really? There's nothing here, huh? It's just really disappointing. I know New Vegas is an old game, but you can't sit there and be all like, oh, New Vegas, it's a great game, but look at this game, it's so empty, when New Vegas is clearly, I think, a more empty game than this is. This is the biggest Fallout game right now. In terms of size, I mean, this is zoomed out all the way and I can't see the entire map. I can go all the way up here. Not sure how back far in the mountains I can go. And I know you can't go past this river yet. Just watch, they'll put more stuff there. Not sure if you can go in this bottom left-hand corner. Excuse me while I fight my own controller here for superiority. I just look at this is just a little bit. I know I've not done anything in here. Haven't been to the museums and theme parks. I've seen people as far back as I think here. I don't know the exact borders and stuff. You might not be able to go too much south past like this area. Like I said, I haven't even gone into Cranberry Bog but once with a friend for a nuke, and he didn't have any proper gear, so he just died. But this is huge. I could spend a lot of time just wandering around here, exploring the locations. And that brings me to another point of just both. I think both reviewers and multiple other ones, I think including like the Angry Joe guy, which I've never really liked in the first place, because the crux of his thing is he's always angry, so you can never tell. Like, his reviews aren't necessarily reviews to begin with, so I wouldn't trust anything out of his mouth anyways, just because he's done misinformation on games before. So I don't trust him as a reviewer to to start with, so I wasn't surprised that he had a review up. But just like the what was I saying just 5 seconds ago? Shit. When you get sidetracked in a game, oh yeah, they were saying how multiple people were saying how like, oh, this can't be the biggest project. All these studios couldn't have worked on it. Like, I mean, with the amount of like little stories and snippets that connect to each other, finding notes in one place, this bunker, Annie's bunker, right over here. Now I know it's just a note that links the two, but this part right there, that bunker. I know I'm fighting my controller right now. I'm sorry, my controller's really bad. I need new ones. But you find a note all the way on this homestead, which most people will have gotten here. And if you were thorough enough to grab the note, or at least pick it up and read it, it literally, this is one of the first things I did. It says, oh, we're going to head over to the Brotherhood, over in the bunker, over here, beyond this. And it marks it on your map. There you go. There's the Brotherhood, all the way on the right side of the map, from the very get-go. And I was like, oh, sweet. I can go to the Brotherhood, but the reality is a level 2 character will not make it over here easily without burning through some stim packs that they probably don't have currently. So, but you're told right away, if you're... I don't want to do this event, but I'll clean the works out. They tell you right away where the fallout bunker is. I'm sure there are other notes like this. Approaching sections will often give you quests outside of the take the workshop events. I was traveling near what was it? Down here, this little facility. No, not that one. Here's that Huntersville. It's north, right? Mountain disposal site. Somewhere around here, Avahamris, there's a facility where they were doing like super mutants shit, and I just walked in. It was like, and then I just read all the terminals in there and found out about the super mutants. I'm not gonna say it because it's way too much information, really. But yeah, just like reading about the super mutants, I was like, dear Lord, like. The people in Huntersville had it tough. I went into Huntersville and was like, oh hi Huntersville, what's up? I have to do a quest here now, completely unrelated to the other quest I was doing, and found a note. Some government agency just like kidnapped some kid, and because I read the terminals in the facility, that kid was on a log as one of the test subjects. They're taking babies down here. Turn them into creatures. It's fucking trash. But the baby did also have some sort of condition. But still, you took some woman's child away. It's fucked up. Yeah. So this is fine. There's tons of stuff here. Look at that. You know what this is? Did I mark it yet? Did it get marked? It got marked. You know what this is? Whoops, gotta turn my character around. This is a perfect photo opportunity. I'm not lying when I say I love taking photos in this game. I have friends and people who are like, no, I don't really use photo mode. Like, I like photo mode. What's not to like about it? Yes, crouching in the tall grass. That's why I want it. Mess with the lighting a bit. Actually, I like the letterbox. I bought this for what, 150 atoms. It's very simple but very effective. Anyways, back to talking about stuff. Another thing Clean Prince said, I know I butchered that right just now. Clean Prince said was, alone it was a pain, and friends was only fun on conditions. And I think I kind of get where that's coming from, but once again, like, referring to the difficulty, like, this is I think a slightly more harder Fallout game than people are used to, just because There are a bit more enemies in some areas than normal. Some of the events, you just need people. You just either need to be extremely higher leveled or you need friends, which is alright, you know. Their events, you should get people together for them. If you see someone, maybe go to an event site. And what I've done with nukes is I go in, well, before we're about to drop the nuke, I go in, I look for people on this map, and I'm sneaking, you can't find them, which is, I guess, a worthwhile point. But I'll go and click on them. This back when I had a decent controller, and I click on them, send them a voice message, go into Reach and send them messages and be like, hey, we're launching this nuke, hey, I'm doing this thing, you want to help me out? I've messaged people and said, hey, can I fast travel to you, you know? I need to fast travel target, can you, and people will respond, or don't respond, and then I figure it out from there. But it's nice to kind of like be like, oh, can I fast travel to you? They invite you to your team, and you go in and you talk for a little bit, and then you leave. Like, I like that. That as an experience to me is great. I freaking love it. Ham radio, yay, they're useless. Almost like real radios, except they actually do something. Maybe they'll do something with the ham radios. I just read a Reddit post that wants ham radios to be usable and placeable in camps. So, and then like friends with conditions, like I said before, I think I've already kind of touched on this, like, you don't have to be doing something with your friends to have fun with them, and you don't have to, you know, they don't have to be like constantly with you. You can have a solo experience with your friends, which might be a little bit counterproductive in saying, but you can go off and be on your own and use people as a fast travel location. There is nothing wrong with doing that. I've done it multiple times. The only downfall of being is you can't use Lone Wanderer. The benefit being is you get their perk cards, and I think there's nothing wrong with that. If you want to just, I've literally said, okay, we're gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. Okay, we're all doing our thing. Hey, do you guys want to meet up at this and do this event? Yeah, we'll do it. Like, it's fine. So like I said, I really don't get the whole deal with that. Those him saying that. Like I said, over exaggerated. Mostly because I probably don't know where he's coming from. Got a plan for a wooden deck. Look at that nice little glitch. Little taking the background there. Cute. This game's full of glitches. Can't even avoid them while trying to just do basic things. But it's alright. Alright. We're saving these. Time for the decks. There we go. This character is awesome. Anyways, back onto the notes. Oh yeah, he was the one I was referring to when I pulled up the microtransactions at the beginning. He was like so disgusted with the microtransactions, like, well, you're nuts. They're not that bad. They really aren't. I mean, and speaking of microtransactions, like, there's a lot of games out there with microtransactions that are just so predatory. They're facing legal action. Was it Finland? A foreign country is enforcing and banning games that are using like really predatory microtransactions. And I think I heard somewhere that some company lost all their 3 of their games on like app games in a country because they refused to comply. EA's like fighting this country. I can't remember it. I'm sorry. I've taken a lot of news. I'm sorry. Bethesda will fix this eventually, or they won't. But even then, like, I'm a guy who doesn't care about graphics. The pop-ins, people complain about that a lot, and I understand some people like their games graphical. But like, I don't care about verbal texture pop-ins. I really don't. Like, look at that. I don't care about it though. I really don't. It doesn't make the game unplayable. It doesn't affect my experience to the point where I'm like, well, shit, that killed me. I'm dead because of a pop-in. No, it doesn't affect me. I don't care about it. I played Minecraft. Now, some people might say Minecraft looks better than this, which I might say maybe they're right. But like, I don't care what a game looks like. When it comes down to it, I'm able to see things and differentiate things between other things, and they have some level of detail which makes it visually appealing. Maybe not Tomb Raider visually appealing, because my god, that game looks beautiful, but also the amount of shit this game is trying to keep up. Like, they had to make a system where they could, you know, accurately, like, you know, load things in and stuff. That's why the stash limit is so bad right now. It's because they're trying to get all this stuff, you know, sorted out and dealt with. And it's just like, the game's trying to keep track of all this shit, you know? And it's just like, yeah, like, it's just something you gotta deal with. It's just there, and it's there to, I don't know, it might not be there to stay so much. But I feel like the pop-ins, they might reduce it, but I don't think they'll ever get rid of it. That's really my theory. You know, look, it's my blueprint and stuff. The building in this game is amazing, by the way. Way better than in Fallout. No! No! Why? It had to be a squishy. This is why I don't come to high level areas. Okay, I just need to get away from it. Alright, it's no longer paying attention to me, it's paying attention to the story. This is why I use a sneak character. You can't see me, nana boo boo. Alright, we're just getting out of here. This is non-conductive to me making a video of decent. So we're just gonna use my broken controller to auto walk this way. Alright, my last few things here. Oh, another thing Clean Prince said, getting high level loot from events only is something. You get griped about events being like horde mode things and stuff. The defense events are optional. You don't have to use workstations. But all the events are basically optional. That tree is not going to be able to handle that defense. Yeah. So like the events are optional things you can do with people. And it is definitely not the way to get the high level loot. That is not only a lie, but it's not even an overstatement, it's just a lie. The best way to get high end loot, nuke an area, farm the legendaries. You don't even need to farm them so much, it's just go in the area and collect. You know, you're not just nuking the area to kill the enemies, you're nuking the area for the flora and the fauna in the area, because that's how you get the good, what's it called? The isotopes, the radioactive isotopes, and then you stabilize them with the stuff you get from the enemies. So you are there for the enemies, but it's not the only thing you're there for. You stabilize these isotopes, and then you can use them to make fusion cores, which is honestly a waste of the isotopes because you can use them to make like the higher end you can use them to make the higher end plasma weapons. Yeah, I forget what they're called though. They have a special name for them, but they're special tiered guns that are just for end game stuff. I mean, and the final boss, or I want to call it a raid boss, but it's not necessarily a raid. But nuking the fissure sites and taking on the Scorched Beast Queen is a special challenge. I've only seen a video of it, but yeah, there's that too. I almost forgot about this little gripe, just because, you know, a lot of this stuff is, like I said, it's so ridiculous. That it's a blatant bash sometimes. Sometimes it's like, okay, I can see why you don't like this. And sometimes it's just like a blatant bash. For example, Clean Prince saying you can build anywhere, but you can't. Now I know the building can be finicky, and not all your base builds are gonna work in every location. That's fine. You can put your camp pretty much anywhere, but in the videos, like trying to put his camp right in the middle of like, was it Charlestown? Like Charlestown. You can put your camp in Charlestown. It's perfectly fine. You can't just put it right in smack dab middle though. You can't put it in the middle of the city. That's not Charlestown. And oh, that's fun. Someone has an actual settlement built where I had mine. That's lovely. That's New Gad anyways. But he was like in the middle of Charleston here, trying to build in like the dried up lake. Now you can build in the dried up lake, but you have to be a certain distance away from the actual area. And this is like a cool place to explore and scrap my shit. Um, so, yeah. And there's also restrictions, to your building anywhere kind of deal thing. Um, you definitely can't, you can't build it just anywhere you want. Going on here. Well, I'm trying to remember the restrictions now. Besides being in the, oh, you can't also build it near other people's bases, which I think they should change if it's with a teammate. I honestly would love to merge bases together to form some sort of increase so we can build bigger build projects together. I feel like that's a feature that should have been in the available at the start, but I have no doubts that they'll eventually, they might eventually get around to making team building a thing, more than just two people working with the same budget. Rather, two people working with individual budgets in a larger area. And they're one of the features they are adding in the one of the updates is a bulldozer feature to clear rocks. So, that being said, you're gonna be able to build anywhere more, not more efficiently, but build any more. You're more likely to be able to build anywhere when they update this game here in the future, just because of the bulldozers feature. Now I'm not exactly sure what's its limits and its implementations are gonna be precisely, but they did say like you were gonna be able to, just bulldoze rocks and trees that were in your way. And I have had bases that are tall, and then like a tree limb blocks a wall, or me from putting a wall up where I was having trouble with all of it out. I wasn't having trouble with the rest of it, and just blocks like one wall. That's fine. If being able to bulldoze, that's gonna be a big improvement. But I think the biggest thing from Clean Prince's video that just really pissed me off is the multiple references as, oh, this could have been Fallout 5, but they stopped halfway and decided to make a Fallout in a multiplayer game, a half-baked multiplayer game. This game is for sure half-baked, or at least that's one way to put it. I thought those were enemies. It definitely has all of its bugs and glitches. We've seen a few just wandering around here, but wanting this game to be Fallout 5, really? Really, I'm sure other people have been saying, "Oh, it wasn't Fallout 5. We should have gotten Fallout 5." If one of your biggest complaints is this isn't Fallout 5, your review isn't worth jack shit. And honestly, my review isn't worth jack shit either. If you don't agree with it either, I suppose. But I'm trying to be as honest as possible. To take it with a grain of salt. I do love this game. I think the world is vast and enjoyable, varied as well. I mean, you got mountains, you got plains, you got dried out lakes, toxic lakes up in here. I mean, the prime example is this. This is literally a temple. It looks amazing. Like, even if the graphics aren't the best at most times, or if you don't like the graphics, like wandering this temple is one of the best things I've ever done. Because it looks like a standard. I don't even know if it probably exists in West Virginia, because they did base a lot of this on West Virginia. But if it didn't exist, I also wouldn't be surprised. Just solely based on the fact that that it is a very grand temple. But if that existed in West Virginia, I'll just show you. I'll show you. For the purpose of this video, I'm biting my controller. I'm sorry. I'm wasting the caps and fast traveling. I have like 2k caps. It doesn't really matter. Yeah. Now, part of the thing I didn't get with his gripe with it not even with it being Fallout 5, but a new engine. I guess they do need to update the engine. I honestly it takes a while to update. Halo is got a new engine to their game after many years. So but it's taking them a while to do it. I think they said so themselves. That teaser video, like the engine wasn't even complete at the time of that teaser video. Let me just take you up here. Um, and so that's like what I'm saying. To work on a new engine, they'd probably have to stop all production of Fallout, any Fallout and projects, just to produce a new engine. And then they'd have to spend years, that's what I'm saying. It's not easy. You can't just create a new engine. Now, I'm not saying they shouldn't do it, because they should. But, I mean, just look at this. Look at this. Like, I saw this place, and I was like, this place looks freaking awesome. Don't wander forward off the cliff. I really don't want to die here. Um, and then, like, some of the stuff, and it looks nice. Like, this is great. I'm still in game chat. I just realized that. I'm so glad no one's here with. Oh god, someone's here with me. Go to chat. There we go. We're in party chat. We can't annoy people now with our mic. Um, that's that. So I also said something about co-op is a choice. Should be a choice. We're just gonna do this. All right. I also said something about co-op being a choice. Um, I don't know, man. I guess he wants it to be more like Red Dead Online, which hasn't even came out yet. Whereas like it's online, it's kind of like a separate thing that's an option. Now I don't mind if they do this in future Fallout games where it's just like a co-op experience. I think that'd be kind of cool. Yeah, blue power armor. Oh, it's starting. I'm gonna join the event while we talk here. Um, but I can understand wanting that, but at the same time, that's not what they wanted for this. In fact, let me just tell you, like, give a little, like, kind of just thought process. Like, Bethesda's thought process here was a multiplayer Fallout game, and so they framed it because the whole camp system, rebuilding America, that is at least I believe the overarching theme, protecting getting a future and protecting it, rebuilding America. So like the like with that theme in mind, you should always keep that in mind when like discussing the game. Hi, you can't hear me now. Haha. You should always keep that in mind when like talking about this game. It's just like you know, we're gonna. I've lost my train of thought now. Just keep that theme in mind. Rebuilding America, camp system, rebuild America, whatever. I don't know where exactly I'm getting with this point, honestly, but but I like it. The world is destroyed. We're the last people arriving out of the vault, and it's our job to rebuild America. There you go. That's my thought process. I like it. I like the concept. Sure, it removes the NPCs, and I think NPCs would be a hard thing to calculate. Everyone had their own NPCs. Honestly, I don't think the game engine could handle all that. I know it's stressed enough as it is, even with the improvements we've received with the game, that to run all this as it is. But that's alright. But another thing I want to point out about the story, and I actually completely agree with another YouTuber called Iracha Gaming, IRCHA space gaming, who said she never she like a lot like me doesn't care about the NPCs, and to her exploring is the story. I think I've already said this, but the story is more than just some character monologuing to you about how bad things are, or NPCs just randomly saying the same 3 voice lines. Oh, I'm so hungry. I need chems. Like, it adds depth to a game, sure, but how many times have you heard Preston Garvey say a settlement is in need of your help? Sure, it's Preston Garvey, and probably was not the most liked feature in Fallout 4, but still, I thought it was gonna be. Okay, there we go. I know it adds like something to the game, but as well as just doesn't. Is that what I think it is? Hell yeah. So like the NPCs, Piper and stuff, Like, I never used them in Fallout games. Never used them. Didn't want them. I used dog meat, but I lost dog meat multiple times in Fallout 4. And 70, I think I found in New Vegas I used NPCs a little bit more, but they kind of shoved them on me when I didn't want them on me, and I just didn't really like dealing with NPCs. The guys that followed you, especially in New Vegas, I really didn't like. I don't like dealing with NPCs. I know this is just my personal opinion. You guys might like it. I do like them at times, but at the same time, it's just like, eh. Like, they get in your way too. But I feel like they will add NPCs in the future. If I hadn't said that already, and it's fine. The perk system in this game is good. That's one thing I think Clean Prince also mentioned, while also mentioning that it's not a Fallout 5 game and that the changes weren't coming in Fallout 5. So, you know, it almost negates what the nice things he said, because almost every single nice thing he said about this game was accompanied by not Fallout 5. And that's, I think, an overstatement, but he didn't really mention too many nice things, so maybe it's not much of one. But I mean, that comes down to the end of what I have to say about this. All in all, my own thoughts, and less of what other people are saying and kind of combating that and dispelling, you know, stuff. I like Fallout 76. I like building camps. Camp building's getting some major improvements. Come next one or two updates that we're getting, along with bug glitches. Probably big glitches to the what's it called? The exploits in this game are, there's a lot of them. I'm getting hiccups now. If you ever see anyone with millions of grenades, you know they've been exploiting the game super hard for XP, despite them not knowing that's literally the worst way to level up in this game. It's consistent, but not really the best way. I'm gonna read that later. Not really the best way to level up. Just solely based on the fact that you're sitting there spamming A. It's soulless and lifeless. And I've gotten to level, what is this character again? I've gotten to level 38 just fine, wandering around doing quests, killing things. I haven't done anything extremely tryhard so far as leveling. I know people have certain areas they love to just hit up. It's fine. You can do that. If you want, you know, get those new perk cards, I understand it's fun to get new perk cards and just, you know, use your perks, get the better perks for your character build. I have nothing against that. Personally, if you have multiple characters, I have nothing against someone wanting to exploit their character up to God knows what level, so they can have, you know, so they don't have to play through it again. Like, I can understand that. It's fine. I don't hate you for doing it, but at the same time, that's not like what I need to do. It's not my priorities, what I care to do in a game. But the perk system lets you play the way you want to play. Pretty good too. I mean, the nighttime perks and stuff. I mean, I've heard people say I'll call a large amount of the perks garbage. Can't remember the reviewer. I left a trashy. I left a review, a comment as trashy as his review of the perk system on his YouTube video. I think I have a level up. No, I don't. But I mean, like, when a reviewer is calling something like, oh, I don't know, Aqua Boy, or even what's it called, Thorough Hiker, he called all the weight reducing perks garbage. This literally shaves off at just rank 2. Shaves off like 50 pounds of weight because I do so much hunting and killing. Now I should reduce that number so I can take off the perk. But right now I don't need to, so I'm fine with carrying a bunch of food on me. But the weight reduction perks can be some of the best perks in the game. And for more focused builds, focusing on certain weapons, the one that reduces the weight of melee weapons, the Artisan that I'm using, and like even the pistol tier, I was at one point using a lot of pistols. I've weaned off that with all the sneaking upgrades I've gotten. That, and I've been focusing more on getting my melee weapon stuff up. there's a scrapper at the bottom here that I can use. I haven't even, honestly, I'll be honest to God, I have never been up on these things yet, but I will be going on those as soon as I need to get inside. But I will be going on those when I'm done here. But other than that, I don't really have anything else to say about this game. You know, there's a lot of things that need improvement. There's a lot of bugs that needs to be fixed. But I'll be here waiting patiently, playing the game, leveling up my characters, and waiting to just enjoy that new content that they'll eventually drop. Because they've already talked about a few things that they're adding to the game for new content, and I'm excited to see what else they have in store for us outside of the cosmetics. Honestly, cosmetics in this game excite me as well, because I have a few characters that are well, I don't know how I say, my team doctor is using the responder uniform, but it'd be nice to have other uniforms. I don't know, I haven't seen the Wasteland Medic in this game, but I'd love to have the Wasteland Medic on my team play doctor character. The vampire uniform is just fine on this character, but I'd also love some sort of like drug uniform for my my drug character. Rude mother. That does happen with some of the enemies sometimes. Sometimes you don't get the legendary loot, it won't pop up. Some enemies are invisible. You know, these glitches, I think they'll get fixed, hopefully with the next 2 updates. I don't think they'll stay in the game for a super extended period of time. But also, what I lose by that mole rat falling? Some leather, maybe some teeth. I don't need the bones. So I really didn't lose too much by that guy dropping through. And I'm just saying that as a matter of fact. Like, that didn't hurt me at all. I got my XP. But, you know, it's whatever. The loot is what you generally want, though. But I'm not, like, too hurt by it. There's plenty of mole rats to kill. I'm gonna stop this video. It's gone on far too long. Maybe it has, maybe it hasn't, I don't know. But I'm done with this. Getting tired of just talking about it. So, I don't know. Tell me about what you guys are doing. If you guys want to hit me up, I'm on Xbox One. Mr. Math Monster, same as the YouTube name. If you're on Twitch, my Twitch is Master Plays Live though, so for those on Twitch, that's what it is. Other than that, you know, have a great time with this game if you have it. If you're waiting on it, maybe waiting for a sale, you missed out on Black Friday. Wait for a few updates if you're that skeptical about it, or if you think it's a bad game, just wait. It'll get better. It's already gotten better, so there's no reason why it wouldn't get better from here.